What would you say maybe were a couple of the takeaways for those that were not able to be in attendance at the summit?
You having those opportunities, not just to look and listen to the speakers who are amazing, but all of these immersive experiences around here it is in action, and somewhere like Motor City in Detroit, that's phenomenal. And I had a thing at the end of my presentation where I said it's really interesting to come so far from home, but you still kind of feel like you're at home. It's such a tribe that we have in this community, and I just that's probably the main draw card for me is if you're ever thinking that you're on your own in this space and it's up to you to try and find all the answers, well, come along with something like this because people are chewing the same dirt as you.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Lean Solutions Podcast. I am your host, Patrick Adams, and I am joined by another one of our amazing hosts who came all the way from Australia to join us, Andy Olrich. Andy, welcome to the official Lean Solutions Podcast studio.
Thank you. It's amazing. And this is our first in-person podcast as well. So thanks for having me, mate.
Absolutely. Now I'm excited. I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit about your trip to the U.S. Now, this isn't your first trip to the U.S., but it's your first trip here to our new office. And there's some things that you experienced this time around that you hadn't experienced on your last trip. So I think everyone at home is probably interested to hear a little bit more about what's happened over the last year and what happened on this trip here. So I'll just ask you, I guess, to start out, why are you even here? What was your purpose in coming to the US this time around?
Thanks. So I was invited to be a speaker again at the Lean Solutions Global Summit, and that was great. I had so much fun last year and I'm honored again to be able to come over. So that was the purpose, was to come over here, speak at the summit, attend and take in all the great things that happen. And yeah, got to check out the new digs. It's pretty impressive. And if anybody's around this part of town, come and have a look. And it's pretty inspiring stuff. So,
well, I appreciate that. And it was obviously great to have you back. We had nothing but great things that came out of last year as far as like the participants at the summit, called you out and said, we loved Andy's presentation. And last year you talked about Australia and kind of the differences between you've made it kind of fun, brought in some language that you guys use that maybe we don't use here in the US. But can you talk a little bit about the difference in like what you presented on last year versus what you presented on this year?
Yeah, so last year was a bit of an introduction. I was very specific around some of the cultural differences. This is such an important place to land on culture and good culture. So it was really about when I thought, wow, what am I going to talk to these? There's a lot of best practice leaders, but also some people getting started that come along to your summit. It's got a great spread of diversity and skills. But I really zeroed in on, well, what's some of the different things that we might have down in Australia, but then also what is, when we look at it, we're actually quite similar. And so just walk them through some exercises. And one of the key things was around tall poppy syndrome. So how if somebody's successful or getting ahead, sometimes in Australia, we're seen as we can cut that tall poppy down, right? So I stayed high level, just wanted to be fun and just a high level of what was sort of some of the ways that Lean came into Australia and some of my experiences. But yeah, really zero them in on that culture around, okay, well, if you are doing that yourself, you may not be as respectful as what you think you are. But then we also went through an exercise on how we can turn that around and be more, as I said, true blue, which means caring for others, seeing it from their position. So it was very high level. This year was a deeper dive, and I really got under the bonnet around, okay, what are some of the now current challenges or more intense challenges in Australia, and how is Lean and other best practice tools and methods helping, and some case studies on what I've been directly supporting. So it was good. As I said, we were sort of high level, a bit of about, well, how are we sort of operating down there? And then it was like, okay, here's some boots on the ground stuff, some things that are going well, but also some things that either we just really don't know where it's going to land, or we need to have another go. So It's great.
What would you say maybe were a couple of the takeaways for those that were not able to be in attendance at the summit for your particular presentation? A couple takeaways that you wanted people to walk away with. What would those be specifically?
Yeah, so we're certainly feeling some of the impacts of the the global economic and other type challenges at the moment. It's kind of some things have been sort of thrown up in the air a little bit from what we're seeing, and there's a lot of uncertainty. So how in some areas we're falling into a trap about actually not making a decision. This whole stagflation thing is a real issue down there. So it's not a yes or a no. It's a kind of, oh, we'll just kind of sit in a holding pattern, which probably means we're going backwards. So that's one thing around, how we're a little bit nervous and hesitant in some ways, just hoping that things will kind of turn around or go in some direction that we consistently for a while. The other piece was we are a little bit scattered with some of the application or some of the strategic initiatives we're doing around not only nationally significant projects and initiatives, but also in the continuous improvement space. There's different states with different targets, different approaches. So we are kind of a little bit misaligned in some areas when we're looking back now to see, well, is this working or not? So that was really, that were kind of the two main opportunities, was around some of the uncertainties and also how we're applying best practice and training. But then there was some highlights around how we're standing up some advanced manufacturing centres of excellence. There is increased focus on lean and other best practice tools, especially around companies that aren't spending money on capital anymore.
Okay.
What can we find within? How do we eliminate waste? Well, hello, lean and those types of tools and methods. They're actually looking and going, well, we can't buy our way to excellence, is what one client said to me. There's got to be something here we can do better. And again, it is, whether we're going really, really well or we're in a fair bit of strife, this process and method always seems to find a way to be of value. And as long as I said, if we can apply it in a consistent and aligned manner, we'll come out of it.
Right. Yeah, no, that's super powerful. I unfortunately wasn't able to sit in on your presentation, so I'm looking forward to going back and listening to some of those. What did you think overall of the summit? This was your second year being in attendance. Last year it was in West Michigan. This year it was on the east side in Detroit. How'd you feel coming this year versus last year, or any of your thoughts on just the summit as in general as a whole?
To be honest, I was a bit nervous because last year just blew me away. It was amazing. It was such a high quality event, and I thought, good luck topping that. and I mean that sincerely, but yeah, it was just incredible to see that. And I had the opportunity last year to jump into some of the reflection sessions you did afterwards, the debrief workshops with your team.
That's right.
And there was a lot of things on that list, right? It was great for me because when I came back, I could see these things going, oh, they've done that. Or, yeah, okay, that's a little bit different. And I can see where that's come from.
Yeah.
I thought it was, in some ways, some things had been simplified. So there was some more, just made it a bit easier for other to jump in and see a lot more.
Sure.
But then there were some other things I could tell you're really pushing the boundaries. Like you're really trying to make it a completely unique and stand out event even more than last year. So was busy. There was so much to see and do. The site tours that we did, someone from Australia, we don't have a car manufacturing industry anymore. So to come to the Ford Rouge plant and see the F-150s rolling off the line every 53 seconds and the significant interaction and design that goes into making all that happen at that speed all the way through. So again, you having those opportunities, not just to look and listen to the speakers who are amazing, but all of these immersive experiences around here it is in action.
Sure.
And somewhere like Motor City in Detroit, that's phenomenal. So yeah, and it was great to see people from last year. That I love this community, and it is a truly global community. So I had my mates from Ireland and Germany, and all of those guys came back, plus people here in the United States.
Right.
And I had a thing at the end of my presentation where I said, it's really interesting to come so far from home, but you still kind of feel like you're at home. It's such a tribe that we have in this community. And I just, that's why, that's probably the main draw card for me, is if you're ever thinking that you're on your own in this space and it's up to you to try and find all the answers, well, come along to something like this, because people are chewing the same dirt as you.
Sure.
But we've all got something. I've had a conversation with a couple of people and they said, oh, thank you. I didn't really know that. And back the other way. So you will see lots, you'll hear lots, you'll learn lots. And if you're wanting to, refine the skill, but also cut out a lot of noise, there was a lot of things there where it just went, what are we doing? Just, as I said, simplified a few things.
Sure.
yeah, it doesn't all have to be hard.
Yeah. And what would you say would be, maybe a couple of your top takeaways, maybe speakers that you heard from, or just points that you're going to walk away and really look to apply, whether it's through your own business or, with clients that you work with?
Yeah, there's usually things around lessons learned, things that we just kind of keep seeming to fall in the same traps with.
Mm-hmm.
So around the technicalities or the tools and things.
Mm-hmm.
There was a really great panel discussion with Jeff Leica, Tom Root, and Mike Rother.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really strong on the social aspects, and how, as Mike said, we've got to continue to just keep poking the system and consistent, regular experimentation.
Right.
So not stop trying to hit moonshots all the time. It's if we're just constantly picking away at things that we know that we can try and learn from, instead of, hang on, let's lift back until we're doing this exactly the way that's written in a certain book, blah, blah, blah. It was really about practical, tangible action now. So that was really about, just keep poking the system. That's really stood out strong for me. The other thing was how, for example, the lean competition that I was deeply immersed in as one of the judges.
Yeah.
We had people from in a team. One was in health, one was in manufacturing, as far as like automotive parts, and someone else from government services.
Right.
They all jumped in and they all worked their way through a similar approach to how they solve problems, set up the areas, and were able to deliver a product they'd never ever put together before, in good time to the customer spec. So it just showed me that the industries could be different, but the mindset and the way that you can work as a team, that's far more important. Third thing that I really was impressed with and was there was a workshop, and there was some pretty senior and well-known, and I mean senior as in skills, not age, guys and girls, but it was, where were they when this particular workshop was on? Right down the front, right in the middle of the classroom, right? Most people would think, they probably don't need to know all that. They never stop. They are forever in there, and they're not just up the back just trying to look nice and attend a session. They were in there asking questions, taking part. So again, that's inspiring stuff, just to give yourself confidence that if you are somehow looking around and not everybody's passionate about it, learning as you are, there's a reason why those legends of the game have got where they are, because they never stop. So
true.
Yeah.
That's so true. Well, I want to, I appreciate the fact that you traveled all the way from Australia for the summit and spoke at the summit. You were a judge at the competition. I mean, you're always so involved. You're obviously a host on the Lean Solutions podcast. But I want to shift gears just a little bit and go more on the personal side of things. Since you did travel here, you gave yourself a little bit of extra time to hang out in the United States. So how's your trip been so far, as far as outside of the summit? Any highlights, anything that you've seen or been able to experience that you thought were kind of cool?
It's been amazing. And, people listening to this, especially in my part of the world, would be interested. Why is this guy coming all this way with some of the other things that are going on in the world at the moment? But as we talk in lean circles, go to the Gemba. Okay, you need to experience this for yourself. So I could have sat back and just thought, oh, well, I think I know what's going on over there. I'm not going to go. From the moment I got off the plane, it was so easy to get through. Even things like customs, it was so easy to get around. And then the people here in the Midwest, like the highlight for me is always coming over here, and you guys take me into your world. You take me to the places that you like to go. I get to meet real people, hear real stories, and meet their families and everything. So I've been able to go, and Michigan is just such a beautiful state. We've been up on the Silver Lake sand dunes. I've been to an apple farm and picked fresh Michigan apples. I've had been able to stay and meet people's parents and things at dinner and all those sorts of things. I really like that sort of stuff. But there's just so much to see and do, and it's all in pretty close proximity. So I guess that's it. You get to kind of, and when you come to Australia, I'll give you the same experience. We can go and check out some touristy stuff, but it's such a deeper connection you can make when you bring people into your world and meet their families, and you really get to know how the other half live, as they say. So yeah, it's just the real deal. And I think that's part of the learning, is that cultural aspect, where if we are working in a team or an organization, we might think that we may know someone because of the team they're in or the work they've done in the past.
Sure.
But if you're not going to Gamba or going and having those deeper interactions with them, you could be missing out on so much.
Mm-hmm.
And for you as well, think about if you're not learning that about them, what are they not learning about you? So, yeah, I think that for me is a real key takeaway of how we can have those deeper trusted relationships, but we've got to go and talk to each other. So
yeah, absolutely.
Lean has been the vehicle for a lot of good things happening in my life. Like as you said, I'm connected to a lot of things to do with Lean solutions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's some nice little extras that come along with it. And cruising around on the sand dunes on a freshwater lake where that type of sand is quite different to where I come from, but lots of fun. And yeah, get over here and check it out, guys.
Yeah, very nice. Well, and I remember year one of the summit, we tried to get the summit in where the colors are changing for the season from summer into fall. And in Michigan here, there's some color tours that happen where it's just gorgeous. I mean, all the trees are changing colors and it's just a beautiful place to be all around. One other thing I wanted to ask you about with your trip here to Michigan is specifically around the office here. So the last time you were here, we were in our old office.
Yep.
Now we're in our new office. And I'm curious to know what's your initial thoughts coming in, touring the office. Just you were able to be part of our reflection session once again this year for as a team from the summit and such. But what are your initial reactions for the Lean Solutions office?
I used the term a little bit, but when I walked in and immediately sort of looked down the first hallway and went, oh, these guys are serious. So, and this is no disrespect to others, like I work from my own home, right? But it's pretty inspiring to see how you've evolved into this space. But yeah, there's so much more than just a nice website and a couple of consultants floating around. Like you have this really nice, well done, immersive center where you've got a training room that's got actual physical artifacts and tools and things that you can look at and you can touch, feel, and do your training here. You got some cool breakout areas. You got this studio in here that we're sitting in right now. But yeah, all the way around and right up front is also the real examples of how you're giving back to the community through the work that you're doing. So that your service to others less fortunate. And for me, and the respect for people and lead with humility, it's on the walls here. And I really, obviously I'm a fan, Patrick, but you can come in here and you can see it living and breathing. All right. And I think that's really great. You've got all bases covered when it comes to not only what you could learn, but you've got case studies up on the wall people can look at. It's real. And as I said, you're serious. It's not like you just spend a heap of money and people have got to kind of trust the website. You can come here and have a look for yourself and you can do training here. You can do all sorts of things. So it's a credit to you, mate, that a lot of places aren't like this where I'm from. And yeah, it's just been great to get to know you and be part of it. So,
well, I very much appreciate that. And I wasn't asking that to get a bunch of accolades. So hopefully nobody listening gets that feeling. But really, I really am genuinely interested because that's the feeling that I want people to get when they come into our office. I want them to know that we are genuine, we are real. We're also real people too. That I mean, the next question that I want to ask you is, what can we do to improve? I mean, that's ultimately at our heart is, how do we keep getting better? Not just with the summit, not just with the podcast, but realistically, like as a team. The Lean Solutions team, we live and breathe continuous improvement, and everything that we do, we're always looking to try to get better. And I appreciate that you mentioned giving back too, because that's a huge part of what we do. And I really want to impress that on others that, follow Lean Solutions or are a partner with Lean Solutions or in any way affiliated with us. I want them to know that, a big part of who we are and what we do is not just writing a check, but really going out there and physically being the hands and feet that are needed by so many organizations. And my hope would be that inspires others to do the same thing, to go out and be in their communities and really giving back, because it's just, that's what it's all about, right? So anyways, I want to ask you thoughts on improvements. What can we do to improve in the office here?
Have more tea options.
That's a really good one, actually.
You put me on the spot. I'm thinking, what could I grab?
No, that's funny, because just so everyone knows, Andy showed up this morning. Of course, I offered him water or coffee, and he asked for tea, and I'm like, we don't have any tea. it wasn't until Danielle came in and then she happened to have some tea, I think, tucked in her drawer somewhere. But that's a great improvement option for sure.
Yeah, that's a bit cheeky. So what could you improve here? Well, I just think, I guess the next step is, for people who can't come here, how you can show them more of how it is set up here, or how we can lift that out and have that more visible when they bump into you, or you're at a summit or something like that. I think, how can we make it? There's so much effort and things done here to really show who you guys are, and the examples of it. It's like, how are you going to project that out more to those who can't travel, or just to make it a bit more clearer? And apologies if it sounded like just a super promo, but I challenge anyone to come here and have a look and not kind of be impressed the way that I was. But definitely, I think how more easily you could transfer the passion and the message that comes out of walking through this place, so that they immediately connect on a deeper level, like you do when you walk in here. You've got visual standards in your offices. You've got some Kanban going on. You've got leader standard work and some really cool little tactile systems. It's the first place I've been where they've got a Gemba doc, a QR code that links to a Gemba doc that shows you how to correctly change the toilet paper roll. I mean, what are you asking me? How can we improve on that? Now, for those who are thinking, that's a bit of overkill, it's actually a tricky little bracket, and they're trying to help the cleaners out. So.
It is. And honestly, I've been called in there twice to help them. I'm not even kidding you. I was called in there twice because they could not figure out how to remove the toilet paper roll. And, one time I was like, okay, I'll show them how to do it. It's a toilet paper roll. Like, can't be that difficult. But it actually is fairly difficult. It's an older style. And so the second time I got called in, I'm like, okay, this is clearly a problem and we need a solution. And so, we've partnered with Gemba Docs, and we use Gemba Docs for a lot of things that we do. But Craig did a little video, printed out a QR code on the Gemba Docs software and put it right in there. And it's so easy. The cleaners, I don't care if they come ask me, but now they don't have to. They don't have to come ask. They can scan it. They can watch the video. It's super simple, easy to do. And those are the types of things that we want people to experience when they come through here. Is I want them to really see, like, we don't just tell people what we think they should do. Like, these are things that we are really doing ourselves in order to make our business environment easier, better, safer for everyone that's working here.
And for me, this stuff is about the messaging, right? It's not so much is that particular QR code on the toilet roll thing going to save you $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. But what it's doing is it's making a very clear link between, well, if someone's struggling, we can help them. But a little bit of a language warning here. I went through a process where I was like, how are we going to get people just to stop and look at something and actually engage better with us? And there's a standing at the trough or the urinal, and we have a term where it's called, we have an epiphany. All right. And it's like you're standing there, and then, or you might be in the toilet and you'd just be sitting there thinking about random things. Well, I put some things there right in front of them. They had to look at it, and I knew that they couldn't really walk away in that short moment. Well, with that one next to the toilet roll holder, someone's going to be sitting there and they'll look across and they'll go, what is this thing? Now, not encouraging the use of phones in the toilet, but they can scan that and see it go somewhere. And then they might go, oh, well, if nothing else, challenge it and say, well, if you're going to do it for that, there's this thing over here that's really been bugging me. Can we do one for that?
Yeah.
And that's usually where it goes. If someone's throwing a rock at something like that and challenging you to do it on something else, absolutely. Thanks for letting me know. If that's the vehicle that gets it going. So again, it's about a mindset and a way of thinking, but it just shows them, as I said, you're serious and we can help. So I cracked up. I thought you were pulling my leg when you said that. And then I went in and it actually works. And now I can be an A-grade toilet roll holder, because you could have just changed that to something simpler, but then, it's an older building. You would have had to patch the wall. You would have had to get the painters in. Okay. You've got a QR code on a laminated thing stuck on the wall.
Super simple. Done. Yeah.
So the toilet roll holder, that's one of my highlights for everyone out there. So
I love it. Okay, Andy, I got two more questions for you.
Sure.
The first question is, can you explain this for those that are listening and not watching the video? there's I'm going to have to let you, I don't want to say the wrong thing here. So can you explain what's sitting on the table here and why? Because I've seen this little guy in a lot of places over the last 2 years. So can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. So for those who can't see on the video, I have in between Patrick and I on the mic stands is a small plush chimpanzee, and his name is Eddie. So when I travel and do that a bit for work, my son obviously can't come with me. So Archie gives me this little plush fella and he says, take Eddie with you. And so we go around all the different landmarks and things. I'll get a photo of Eddie, but Eddie's kind of taken on a place of his own now, and he's getting put in all these wonderful, weird places. Darth Vader's been holding him this week. He's been sitting on a minion bale of hay, but yeah, I take him with me, and it's such a cool thing that connects me a bit more to home, but he's having a lot of fun and getting excited about wanting to see this stuff for himself. The other thing that Eddie's brought out is there's a lot of people like me that do this stuff. I thought this was such a weird thing.
That was surprising for me to hear too. I mean, maybe it shouldn't be, but.
Well, I'm at the summit and someone comes up to me and goes, hey, what's the go with the monkey? And I said, oh, when I travel, here's the story. He puts his hand into his pocket and then opens his fist, and he's got a plastic dinosaur, like a little brontosaurus. And he goes, this is Penny. And I went, well, what's that? And he said, that's my daughter's. I have to take her with me everywhere I go.
That's amazing.
And then someone reaches over from behind with their phone, and it's a photo of a small teddy sitting on a stool or something. And she goes, oh, this is Bunny. This is, and I'm going, there's like this whole network of these people who are carrying those little toys around. But
oh, wow.
It's and it's a great conversation starter, but people immediately connect with you on a different level, and they're just like, oh, that's really cool.
That is really cool. It's amazing. So if you're listening at home right now and you have a similar little doll or plushie or something that you take around for your kids, you should comment below, tag Andy so he can see how big the community really is.
Maybe we can start the carting toys around the world podcast series or something.
There you go. I like it. All right. So last question, Andy. What's next for you? Talk a little bit about your consulting business. Some may or may not know that you are doing lean coaching consulting. So talk a little bit about what you're doing now and what's next for you. What are your plans going forward?
Yeah, sure. So I have my own independent consultancy called North Street Partners. So I've been 100% independent since earlier this year. I took the leap to go out and do this for myself. So yeah, I'm now going into organizations and providing business process improvement tools, methodology, coaching, some project support. So really loving that and going into a lot of different industries. I've been in some varied backgrounds and industries before, but now actually going in there kind of on my own dime, going in there and doing that. So that's been really great. My plans for the next 12 months is to really develop those longer term return type engagements where I'm going in at a certain cadence, depending on where they're at and what they need to do.
Sure.
But then, growing the business and I look to just to accelerate that basically and get out there more often and continue to help. So lean is definitely a big part of what I do, but there's also some other project management and Scrum and all sorts of other improvement solutions that I can offer. So I appreciate the opportunity to plug, but I really would like to write a book. All right, so
I'm glad you mentioned that.
I think you were coming at me.
Now you have it. Now you not only did you tell me, but now you told the rest of the world. So now it's a done deal. You have to do it.
Yeah, I did say to Patrick, I've said it out loud, but I only said it to him that I had a plan to this time next year to be talking about it. So there you go. It's out there. There is no way back now. So just there's a lot of things that sometimes people need to pick up a book somewhere or have a video somewhere and just have a look. So I think there's some good stories to share, some lessons learned, and in particular, maybe what not to do. So look forward to sharing that. But thanks. And the reason I'm, again, getting confidence to go through and keep stepping up and moving from working for a company to do my own thing to then future plans is, well, I'm sitting in a pretty good case study of how it can be real. So I'll just keep going, mate. But I appreciate all the support.
Absolutely. So if anybody wanted to reach out to you, if they were looking for support, you're based in Australia.
Yes.
As we all know, lean is applicable in any industry. So, you have experience in a couple different industries, but and you do lots of different things like project management, Scrum. You mentioned a few different things. If someone was interested to just chat with you about some of your services or maybe looking for support, I'm assuming you do some virtual stuff too.
Yeah.
So not just those that are based in Australia,
Yep.
but really anywhere. How would they get a hold of you? What's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, so obviously my LinkedIn, and there'll be links in the show notes, but also northstreetpartners.com.au. That's my website, and it's we'll have that in there as well. But yeah, I'll do some virtual coaching as well for those who have either been in and got them going, and then there's just those regular check-ins, or New Zealand, Malaysia, whether they're in health, manufacturing, logistics, government services, providing support across all those, mining as well at the moment. So yeah, but reach out if you've got a particular challenge there that you think I might be able to help with. Let's connect. But if not, I'm pretty strong about, look, I don't know, but I know someone who does. So I can connect you that way as well. So yeah, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and also obviously, if anyone is a longtime listener of the podcast, you know a little bit more about Andy's background. So just as you said, check the show notes, and you'll find all the information you need to connect with Andy. Again, it's great to have you on the show as a guest in this spot, in this position. It was great to have you here in the U.S. To speak at the Lean Solutions Summit. Looking forward to seeing you again next year at the 2026 Lean Solutions Summit. So more information to come on that, but definitely appreciate you being here, and I wish you safe travels as you head home.
Thanks, mate. I'll see you online soon, but yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you next year.
All right.